How to become addicted to discipline in one day. Look, I get you. You want to be the person who wakes up early, who hits the gym consistently, who builds their business without procrastinating. But here's the problem. You're waiting to feel motivated first. You're waiting for that magical moment when everything clicks and suddenly you're excited to do hard things. And that's exactly why you're still stuck. That mindset is the biggest trap you can fall into. And I need you to understand this right now if you want anything to change. Motivation is completely unreliable, let's face it. It's based on emotion, and emotion changes every single hour of every single day. You feel motivated after watching an inspiring video, right? Then 2 hours later, you're scrolling on your phone, and that motivation is gone. You feel pumped up on a Saturday night, planning your week, and then Monday morning hits and you hit snooze. Motivation is like a wave. It comes and goes, and you have zero control over when it shows up. Discipline is completely different. Discipline is the ability to act independent of your emotions. It's the refusal to negotiate with your excuses. It's doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. My name's Fred, and I used to be a serial procrastinator. I grew up in the lower middle class, and I saw firsthand how lack of money affected everything in life. When I was only 11 years old, I discovered you could actually start a business online, and that changed the trajectory of my whole life. That realization was like a door opening a completely different future. A few years ago, I wanted to start my first real online business. Had dabbled in other things before, tried a few online side hustles here and there, but had never really committed, never really gone all in. The biggest problem was I was so anxious, I literally couldn't do anything. I'd wake up every morning telling myself that tomorrow would be different, that tomorrow I'd finally get started. But in reality, I'd spend my entire days watching movies on those sketchy, low-quality streaming sites with explicit pop-ups, scrolling endlessly, doing literally anything I could to distract myself from actually taking risks and from that pain I was feeling constantly. But I'm here to tell you the sacrifice and effort is worth it. My millionaire mentor at the time told me something that stuck with me forever. He said I needed to become a different version of myself, that I needed to shift my entire identity. So that's exactly what I did. Slowly but surely, I transformed myself into someone who wasn't afraid to get shit done. Someone who took action instead of hiding behind excuses like a scared little boy. I literally forced myself to do one thing I was afraid of every single day for a year straight. And that's how I had my first $1,000 day at 21 and my first $2,600 day at 22. The person who was paralyzed by fear, watching movies all day couldn't have done that. But the person I became absolutely could. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready is the moment you actually take control of your life. Real discipline is choosing action, even when everything inside you is screaming for comfort, for just 5 more minutes, for tomorrow instead of today. That uncomfortable moment, that exact point where you want to quit, but you push through anyway, that's where growth actually begins. That's the only place growth happens. Nobody ever built anything big by only acting when they felt like it. So if you're serious about becoming disciplined, you need to completely divorce action from emotion. Your feelings don't get a vote anymore. Your commitments do. Now let's talk about your environment, because this is where most people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. The truth is, you cannot become disciplined in an environment that constantly tempts you to be weak. It's like trying to quit drinking while working at a bar. It would be pretty hard. Your surroundings will always win. Discipline is built by making the right action the easiest action to take. That's not being weak, it's literally just being smart. You need to remove distractions from your space. Clean your environment. If your room or your office is a mess, your mind is a mess. Block the websites that waste your time. Silence notifications on your phone, or better yet, put it in another room when you're working. Make failure inconvenient. The less friction there is between you and your work, and the more friction there is between you and the distraction, the faster discipline becomes automatic. If your gym clothes are laid out the night before, you're more likely to work out first things first in the morning when you wake up. If your phone is across the room instead of on your nightstand, you're more likely to wake up on time when your alarm goes off instead of scrolling for 30 minutes. If you delete social media apps from your phone, you can't mindlessly open them 50 times a day. These seem like small things, but small things end up creating big results in the long term. Your environment is either supporting your discipline or destroying it. There's no neutral. So look around you right now and ask yourself, is my space set up for the person I want to become or the person I'm trying to stop being? Because that makes all the difference. Here's what you're going to do today. Create one non-negotiable rule for yourself. Just one. Don't try to overhaul your entire life in 24 hours because that's how you burn out and quit by day 3. Believe me, I would know. I tried and I failed dozens of times. Pick one small, concrete promise to yourself that you will not break no matter what happens. It could be waking up at the same time every day. It could be going to the gym. It could be completing one important task before you check your phone or you open social media. Just one thing that you commit to fully. When you keep that one promise, something very powerful happens in your brain. You prove to yourself that your word actually means something. You start to build trust with yourself. Most people don't trust themselves. They don't have self-confidence because they've broken promises to themselves 1,000 times. They say they'll start tomorrow and they don't. They say this time is different and it's not. That pattern destroys your self-belief. But that single act of keeping one commitment, that starts to rewire your identity. You go from being someone who quits and fails to someone who says they'll do something and actually follows through. That shift is everything. Something that made discipline actually effortless for me was learning that you need to learn to crave the feeling you get when you've done the work, not the comfort of avoiding it. Discipline doesn't have to feel like a punishment. Most people associate discipline with suffering, with forcing themselves to do things they hate. That's the wrong framing. The trick is to associate discipline with the reward. Not external rewards like money or praise, although those are nice. I'm talking about the internal reward. The clarity and pride you feel after a focused work session or sales call. The dopamine you get after pushing through a hard workout. The control you feel when you choose to take action instead of giving in to excuses. Every single time you complete a disciplined action, take a moment to actually recognize that feeling. Don't just rush to the next thing. Pause and notice how good it feels to have followed through. Notice the confidence building. Notice the momentum. That's how you train your mind to start craving discipline instead of comfort. You're literally rewiring your reward system. Over time, that satisfaction becomes more addictive than procrastination ever was. You start to realize that the temporary comfort of scrolling or sleeping in or avoiding work feels hollow compared to the deep satisfaction of actually getting shit done. Once you experience that shift, discipline stops being a battle and starts being something you genuinely want. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. Now look, if you want to become more disciplined, you need to stop obsessing over perfect streaks. Most people quit because they're terrified of breaking their streak. They go 30 days strong, then mess up one time, and then they completely give up because they think they failed. That is nonsense. Discipline is not about never failing, it's about recovering instantly when you do. Life happens, you'll have bad days, you'll slip up. What matters is how fast you get on track. A simple hack that helped me stay accountable was to keep a visible record of my disciplined actions. It could be a notebook, a simple checklist, even an Excel sheet, anything. Every checkmark, every completed day is proof that you're becoming the kind of person who acts despite resistance. You're not tracking perfection, you're tracking progress. You're collecting evidence that you're changing. Proof creates belief, and then belief sustains discipline when the motivation disappears. When you can look back at 30 check marks on the calendar, that becomes tangible evidence of your consistency, and that can fuel you to keep going. That becomes the foundation you stand on when you don't feel like showing up. You can point to the proof and say, I'm the kind of person who does this. I've done it 30 times already. Today is just another day of being who I already am. And that brings me to the most important concept in this entire video. You don't get disciplined. You become disciplined by changing who you are internally. Because your identity drives your behavior. If you're a vegan, you won't eat meat. If you're not a vegan, you won't eat meat. If you still see yourself as someone who's trying to get it together, someone who's working on being better, someone who's attempting to build discipline, you'll keep acting like that kind of person. You'll keep starting and stopping. You'll keep negotiating with yourself and giving in to your excuses. But the moment you start to see yourself as someone who does what needs to be done, no debate, no negotiations, your actions will align automatically. In one day, you can start that transformation. It's not about magically becoming perfect overnight. No one can do this. It's about making a decision about who you are now and refusing to act in ways that contradict that decision. First, you have to choose to become disciplined to become disciplined. It begins the moment you keep one promise to yourself and refuse to break it again. That first kept promise is the foundation. Then you keep it tomorrow, then the next day, and slowly, your identity shifts from someone who always quits and fails to someone who does what they said they were gonna do. You go from being someone who wants to be disciplined to someone who is disciplined, and that makes all the difference. Here's what I want you to do right now, today. Pick one rule that you're going to follow no matter what. Just one. For me, it was sitting down and working on my business for at least 2 hours every single day before I let myself do anything else. That was my non-negotiable. Now set up your space to help you follow that rule. If your rule is working 2 hours every morning, then charge your phone in a different room the night before so you're not tempted to scroll first thing. Remove the things that distract you and make it harder to do the stuff that pulls you away from your goals. Here's a simple example. Let's say you want to work out every morning. Put your workout clothes right next to your bed before you go to sleep. Put your regular clothes in the closet across the room. Now when you wake up, the easy thing to grab is your workout gear. You just added friction to the lazy choice and made the disciplined choice easier. When you actually complete your disciplined action, stop for a second and feel that win. Write it down somewhere. Keep track of the proof that you're doing it. Take a screenshot, mark it on a calendar, whatever works for you. And here's the most important part. Start seeing yourself differently right now. You're not trying to become disciplined someday. You are becoming the kind of person who does hard things. And that, my friend, is how you become disciplined on day one. If you want me to help you to build a profitable online business, even with limited time and money, check out the free training I made for you in the description below. You can also apply to book a call with me or a member of my team, and we'll help you implement everything step by step. With that being said, I'll see you on the other side.